The news is live from our studios here at Kukumlemle's Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra. In Kumasi, we're live on Love 99.5 and affiliates across the 16 regions of Ghana, including Pad FM in Damango, A1 Radio in Bogatanga, and Kekeli Radio in Ho. You can also download the My Joy Online app from Play Store and App Store to listen live around the world. In this edition, Ghana set to roll out clinical trials for 2 separate COVID-19 vaccines, including Russian-made Sputnik Light vaccine.
So the main objective is to assess the efficacy, the tolerability, the safety, and immunogenicity of the Sputnik Light vector vaccine against SARS-CoV-2 induced coronavirus infections.
And about 1,500 volunteers will receive at least 1 full dose of the vaccine in a space of 13 months. We'll bring you updates live from an ongoing National Stakeholders Conference. Also, new survey reveals fear of unemployment is pushing 55% of Ghanaian children to seek greener pastures abroad as they say they face a bleak future.
Last year, my Center for Suicide and Violence Research, discovered a very disturbing trend. 3 out of 10 junior high students in Ghana have attempted to kill themselves in the past 12 months.
We'll bring you details on the report and tell you why their patriotism is unmatched despite their fear. WAEC rejects accusations by Africa Education Watch that there was any leakage of questions during the 2020 WASI, saying they were not engaged prior to the submission of the report.
Yes, WASI. There were no actual questions that were leaked. The council is baffled at the fact that although it is the subject of the report, EduWatch did not engage the council in order to be better informed.
We have details as WAEC threatens legal action against Africa Education Watch in sports.
Chairman of the 2023 Africa Games Local Organizing Committee, Dr. Kweku Ofosu-Asare, insists Ghana is ready to host the continent despite delays with building infrastructure.
And later we'll get to know why Ghanaian rapper Omar Sterling continues to top the Ghanaian Twitter trends today.
Makola dreams, we all caught up in the buying and selling. Makola dreams. When there's clarity, the vibe's different. Inferiority complex.
We have more in his latest album, Same Earth, Different Worlds. That and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. Please stay for details. Thanks for your company. This afternoon, Ghana is set to roll out clinical trials for 2 separate COVID-19 vaccines as it joins global efforts to gather more information on how to defeat the virus. About 1,500 volunteers will receive at least 1 full dose of the Russian-made Sputnik Light vaccine or the Sanofi vaccine in a space of 13 months. Already, similar trials are being run in at least 8 other countries, including USA, Russia, Egypt, and the UAE. But with the current global shortage of vaccines due to vaccine nationalism, Ghana's participation in the advanced clinical trials will better position it to assess the jabs when they are ready. Here's team lead for the trials of the Sputnik Light vaccine in Ghana, Dr. Alberta Amu, addressing the National Stakeholders Conference in Accra a while ago.
The ultimate goal of this trial is to conduct it in parallel in all the countries with the same IP or the vaccine, so that we can compile data from all the countries to be able to develop enough data to be able to get the vaccine registered for use. The rationale of the study, I've mentioned some of these already, that out of the about 1.3 billion people in Africa, we've been able to vaccinate only 17 million so far. So the main objective is to assess the efficacy, the tolerability, the safety, and immunogenicity of the Sputnik Light vector vaccine against SARS-CoV-2 induced coronavirus infections compared to placebo.
That's Dr. Alberta Amu there. My colleague Manuel Cranting is at that conference. He joins us with more on this. So, Manuel, what are the specific details of each of the trials and when are they starting and in what form will they be taking?
Yes, the very first vaccine that's being tried is a Sputnik Light vaccine, which is made in Russia. The second one is Sanofi vaccine. Now, the Sanofi vaccine will be trialed in the process of 13 months, and the Sputnik Light will be tried in the process of in a period of 7 months. Now, you are going to have the clinical trial starting on 28th of June and will take place in 2 sites, one in Dodowa and then one in Navrongo. And so a total of about 1,500 recipients, if you like, volunteers, will be used as subject for this particular study as Ghana tries to, gain more information on how to defeat the virus.
The first one is a proportion of study subjects with active COVID disease developed within 21 days of vaccination compared with placebo. The second endpoint is the incidence and severity of adverse events in participants, incidence of local and systemic reactions to the vaccination within 7 days of injection. And then, of course, the incidence and the severities of adverse events and severe adverse events that occur over the course of the study.
Now, Manuel, I've had Sputnik V vaccines, and we know that has already been approved for use in Ghana. Now I'm hearing about Sputnik Light. Are they the same?
Different slightly, even though both of them are made in Russia. We know that the Sputnik V vaccine itself has a 90% or more efficacy against the virus. Now, phase 1 and phase 2 clinical trials of the Sputnik Light revealed that it had a little less efficacy against the virus. That's about 80%. But the authorities say that in terms of deployment, in terms of logistics, in terms of cost, because the Sputnik Light takes just 1 dose as against the Sputnik V, which consists of 2 doses. So it's, according to them, medically, economically, and logistically, more sane to be deploying the Sputnik Light here in Ghana.
Manuel, stay with me because we've had the head of West Africa Center for Cell Biology and Infectious Pathogens, WACPIC, Professor Gordon Awandari, say that the AstraZeneca and Sputnik V vaccines will not be effective against the new strains. He's been speaking to Daniel Dati yesterday on Prime Morning on Joy Prime TV.
We have to go back to being serious about, the protocols and also tightening the screening at the airport and the mandatory quarantine. These are very important to limit the influx of the new variants. And if we're able to do that, we may be able to avoid a third wave. Now we have to be looking at the right vaccines. We all this while we've been fixed on AstraZeneca and Sputnik V. We have to start shifting towards looking for more of Pfizer and others, which have a better chance of protecting against these variants.
So, Manuel, you've been getting answers to this for us from the authorities on the Delta variant, which is said to be resistant to the Sputnik V vaccine.
Yeah, I was speaking to Dr. Patrick, Dr. Franklin Esidu, I beg your pardon. He's telling me that, well, yes, there's a confirmation of the Delta strain of the virus in the country, except that he cannot confirm if it's entered into the larger community. What he's ever assuring is that there's going to be an upscaling of the protocols at the airports to be able to test and isolate all the people who are carrying the Delta virus so that they do not enter the population. He's, however, cautioning people to stick to the protocols, wearing of nose masks and so on and so forth, to be able to fight against the virus.
Well, that's Manuel Kranti. Well, Dr. Albert Amo has also been giving us some answers to this.
This trial, if we are able to generate data that shows that the vaccine is efficacious and safe, it's going to be added to the tool of vaccines already in use and hopefully improve on vaccine availability, especially in sub-Saharan Africa.
So that's a lead for the trials of the Sputnik Light in Ghana, Dr. Alberta. We can also now hear from Dr. Franklin Esiedu Bekwing. He says the Ghana Health Service is ready to deal with the influx of the deadly Delta COVID-19 variant, which has now been recorded in Ghana. Speaking on Newsnight with Evans Mensah last night, Dr. Bekwing is also assuring that the Ghana Health Service has measures in place to manage the spread.
We have teams in all the districts and the regions who do contact tracing. So they follow up the cases and then we test them. And also I want to say that clearly, as we speak, we have an improvement in our bed capacity, managing even severe and critical cases. So now we don't have that challenge of being able to manage the cases outside Accra. And then the challenge also was about availability of oxygen. Now we have got an improvement in our oxygen capacity. So clearly we are a bit better off compared to the early stage of the year, early part of the year, to manage severe and critical cases. So I think that for now, that is what we are doing.
That's the Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Asiedu Bekwing. Away from COVID, the Delta variant and vaccines, there's another trial, but this time is examination. The West Africa Examination Council has punched holes into a report authored by the Africa Education Watch on the 2020 WASI, insisting no questions were leaked from WAEC to students. The Africa Education Watch alleged last week in the report that WASI questions were leaked to students, as well as the personal contact details of examiners, which the education think tank said was leaked from WAEC. But WAEC, in a news briefing today, said the report from the think tank exposed their ignorance on how it conducts its affairs. WAEC says the Africa Education Watch did not engage its prior to putting together their report in order to come to a proper conclusion. Agnes Tekujo is head of public affairs at the West Africa Examination Council.
Aspects of the methodology that EduWatch used raise issues of credibility and fairness. The Council is baffled at the fact that although it is the subject of the report, EduWatch did not engage the Council in order to be better informed about what its processes and procedures are before coming to its conclusions and making its recommendations. According to the report, that is on page 3 of the report, the identities of informants are withheld and subject to non-disclosure. The compelling reasons for non-disclosure in research include threats to the security of informants, risk of human rights abuse, and cultural or religious sensitivity. And we ask ourselves, which of these is applicable in the instant case? Why would African Education Watch refuse to disclose the identity of informants?
Now, on leakage of the personal contact details of examiners, WAEC insists that although the leak was unfortunate, it had systems in place to ensure that it did not affect the outcome of the examination results.
The Council, in its press release of August 19, 2020, acknowledged the unfortunate circulation of a yet-to-be-finalized version of an examiner's list for the WAS School 2020 on social media. The said circulated list, unfortunate as it was, did not include the critical information regarding which scripts the examiners would be marking, etc. The Council indicated then that it had initiated investigations into the development and assured the public that steps incorporated in the marking exercises over the years ensured fairness.
Now, my colleague Kweku Asante was at this news conference. He's returned from there. He joins us in studio. Manuel, of Kweku, on the leakage on personal details of WAEC examiners, do we know if arrests have been made and prosecutions initiated?
Right. So according to Agnes Tekujo, one person has so far been arrested in connection with this leakage, and he's currently being prosecuted. But
now that WAEC is completely casting doubts on the report from Africa Education Watch, do they say what they intend to do about this?
Right. According to the head of legal at WAEC, Reverend Edo, they are taking steps to ensure that the WAEC sanctity is prevailed. And so they are saying that they are not ruling out legal options that are available to them to ensure that Africa Education Watch is able to defend what it puts out.
The Council, in its press release of August 19, 2020, acknowledged
that all options are on the table as far as how we are going to respond to Africa Education Watch going forward is concerned. All options are on the table, so all things are possible, including a legal suit. So these are things that management has to reflect on and then strategize regarding such a step. So don't be surprised if there is such a thing that comes up. But I can't tell you now, here and now, that tomorrow or the next day. So it's an option, I must say.
That's the head of legal at WAEC there. Now, a study published by Charles Wright International has found that about 55% of children in Ghana believe that the future is bleak and are planning to leave the country by 2040. The children cite jobs, education, and better standards of living elsewhere as the reasons. The survey focused on expectations of some 11,288 children between the ages of 12 and 17 in all the 16 regions of Ghana. It reviewed 94% of the children were worried about getting a job in the next 2 decades. My colleague Elton Brobe has details of that report.
The research conducted from June 2020 to April 2021 targeted children between the ages of 12 to 17 and aimed at providing evidence on the values and issues of concern to children and further provide them with the needed opportunity to have their voices heard on key issues that affected them. The findings adapt Ghana through the lenses of children, present, and the next 20 years. The research was to gauge and explore children's life experiences on issues affecting them now and how the country might be in the next 20 years. The findings says children are worried about getting jobs in the future, with majority of them predicting that unemployment would make it harder for some citizens to make ends meet than they did now. 71% of the respondents revealed they would focus their attention on solving the unemployment problem in the country by creating jobs if they became leaders in the future. The findings showed that 35% of the respondents said acquiring technical or vocational skills through technical vocational education and training TVET will be essential for them to be employable in the next 20 years. But more staggering is the finding that 55% of the children said they wished to migrate definitely, whilst 11% said they would either stay in the country or leave eventually, even though a majority of them said they were proud to be Ghanaians. Professor Joseph Safo, head of Psychology Department of the University of Ghana, said the report had exposed the generational gaps in the country and that children needed reorientation of their minds on their outlook on agriculture.
This report clearly tells us that certain things are pushing our kids to the brink of a potential desperation, a culture of desperation. Last year, my Center for Suicide and Violence Research, discovered a very disturbing trend. 3 out of 10 junior high students in Ghana have attempted to kill themselves in the past 12 months. 2 out of 10. The first is junior high, the second one is senior high. When you go to the university, it's about 3 out of 10.
That's my colleague Elton Broby with that report detailing content of that survey. Now, Executive Director of Child Rights International, Bright Appiah, who presented the report, says the finding provides government the opportunity to fix the concerns of these children.
It's a bit surprising, and then also it shows the thinking pattern of our children, and then also the desire to see change. Because clearly, though they have stated that they want to leave the country, about 55% of them, their national pride, being Ghanaians, is almost about 93% of them says that they are proud to be Ghanaians, and then listed the reasons why they feel that they want to leave the country. So it is an expression of their feeling and the strong will that when things are done right, every Ghanaian child will be glad and happy to stay in Ghana and work and contribute to the development of these countries.
That's the Executive Director of Child Rights International, Bright Appiah. Now, the Commercial Court in London has refused to allow Ghana to bring a belated challenge to the actual award worth over $134 million in favor of a power contractor, ruling that national elections and COVID-19 pandemic did not make the state's delay reasonable. The case started under Gloria Kufuor when she was Minister of Justice and Attorney General, with Godfred Yeboadame as her deputy. State attorneys, including Helen Akpene Awoziwu, Anna Pell Akiwumi Siribo, and Grace Opon-Dolphy in Accra were also mentioned in the case as having failed to beat a 28-day deadline. The result of that is Ghana will be paying a whopping $170 million in damages to the claimants, Ghana Power Generation Company. Joy News editor Araba Kumsin has been studying that. She joins us in studio. Araba, what's the background to this case?
So briefly, the underlying dispute concerned the government's alleged wrongful repudiation in 2018 of a contract for a fast-track power generation solution that's involving the relocation of 2 aeroderivative gas turbine power plants to the government's territory. So the London-seated Unicitral Tribunal, composed of the President John Beachy, William Rowley, Albert Fiajo, who's Ghanaian, issued its final award in January, ordering the government to pay a contractually defined early termination payment of more than $134.3 million plus interest and cost. And it also dismissed the government's counterclaim.
Already, their reaction to this ruling, Member of Parliament's Mines and Energy Committee, John Jinapo, has been speaking to my colleague Joseph Opoku Gakpo on this.
The government didn't plan well. The government didn't take this matter serious. First of all, I hold the view that it was wrong to have terminated the agreement the way and manner in which this government went about it. Clearly, we could save more than $150 million if this government had listened to good counsel. But the minister decided that he would cancel it unilaterally. And today, the state of Ghana has had to pay about $170 million. That's a whopping amount, and it's a colossal amount. Also, we had the opportunity to file an appeal in London, and based on the ruling, it's obvious that the government of Ghana delayed, slept on the job, and didn't do what it ought to have done. And so clearly, from all intents and purposes, it would appear that we would have to pay this amount. And we must learn some lessons. We can't just throw the taxpayers' money out when we could have used this money for some very, very equally important assignments.
That's the ranking member on Parliament's Mines and Energy Committee, John Jinapo. I take you to the Northeast region now, where President Akufo-Addo says government is very much committed to fulfilling the Agenda 111 initiative, which aims to construct a hospital in districts without a health facility. The project, which was built to start last year, has delayed, which government blames on the impact of the COVID-19 on the economy. We can listen.
The plans that the government have to develop the region, to develop the country in our agriculture and in our industry are well thought out plans. They're going to result in more and more jobs becoming available to young people. The plans that we have in education are also very solid plans, and getting as many people, as you know already, the free senior high school system has brought more people into the educational net in the secondary stage than we've ever had before. We're expanding technical and vocational training. We're embarking on a big focus on skills development and technical training. The plans in those areas are also plans that will respond to the demand for skills that will enable them to work well.
Well, the president has also been expressing his disappointment with the performance of his party in the region.
I was disappointed. I thought that, and especially when you look at the fact that the 2 seats that we lost were also the 2 seats of our ministers who came from the Northeast region. Bunkrugu, where we lost, was where the regional minister, the first regional minister of the Northeast, was our MP. And then here in Nalerugu, Gambaga, too, the Minister for Local Government and a very important member of the cabinet, Haji Alima Mahama, was our candidate. So to lose these 2 seats when 2 of our heavy hitters in the region was also a very disappointing result for us.
President Akufo-Addo. Now, my colleague Ilyasu Tanko has been interacting with some residents ahead of the visit.
Program Aduru district needs a district hospital. He promised that he was going to deliver 88 district hospitals and 6 regional hospitals. We are expecting him to address that. We are expecting him to address the people of Mamprogo Aduri, telling them the number of dams he dug for them and how many of those dams have been put to use.
Some residents there interacting with Ilyas Tanko. This is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Ghana set to roll out clinical trials for 2 separate COVID-19 vaccines, including Russian-made Sputnik Light. We've been hearing from those conducting that clinical trials. When we return from the break, we have sport, and then also we'll tell you why Ghanaian rapper Omar Sterling continues to top the Ghanaian Twitter trends today.
Makola dreams, we all caught up in the buying and selling. Makola dreams, when there's clarity, the vibe's different. Inferiority complex make you keep.
Do you know that when you dial *700# on Vodafone, you are accessing a world of endless opportunities, from getting a job in another country while right here in Ghana, to playing esports in real time, from attending world-class institutions from your bedroom, to seeing specialist doctors without leaving home, and so much more. So get the best value data offers in Ghana on Vodafone. Get 1.23 GB data, no expiry data for only 5 Ghana cedis, 3.4 GB data for only 10 cedis, and 9 GB data for only 20 Ghana cedis. Dial *700# now.
Vodafone. Together we can.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's do sports. Hans, what's up?
Hello, Mifa. Nice shoes.
Thank you.
Chairman of the 2023 Africa Games Local Organizing Committee, Dr. Kweku Ofosu-Asare, insists Ghana will be ready to host the rest of the continent despite delays with building infrastructure. Key among them being the multi-purpose sports stadium at Mortimer.
Approved by the Environmental Protection Authority in Ghana. Then we have what we call the ESIA, and that is Environmental and Social Impact Assessment. That is external. And they make sure that you have ticked all the boxes before you start. There are so many things you look at, the other impact assessments, the local area, the electricity, all those things you have to do before you start. So these things are ongoing, testing of the soil and all that.
Dr. Kweku Ofosu-Asare is the chairman of the 2023 Africa Games Local Organizing Committee.
You heard the angry residents of Achiman Kwawuma in the Ashanti region today staging a protest against delayed construction of their roads, which started in 2017. They blocked the major link road, compelling motorists to seek alternative routes to their destination. The demonstrators are unhappy with the government for failing to progress with that road construction. Nanaya Ojima is on the ground. He joins us with more. Nanaya, first describe to us the state of this road.
So, MFR, this is a very bumpy road, dusty, and it's been abandoned since 2017. So you can imagine the kind of troubles that these people go through before they are able to get to their destinations. This morning, the residents took to the area, the road, to try to register their displeasure concerning the abandonment of this road. For about 2 hours, they blocked the road to traffic. It took police and military intervention to deal with the block.
Well, it appears we have a terrible connection to Nanaya Ojima. Nanaya Ojima is unable to hear us, but I'll take you to the Upper West region now, where police have begun investigations on 2 cases of alleged assault and sexual harassment involving a 30-year-old man and 3 tutors of Wa Jamaat Islamic Girls Senior High School. The 30-year-old man, whose name is only giving us Sharon, was arrested for allegedly attempting to rape a student of the school. The suspect, after being interrogated by the police, stated that he was assaulted by the tutors of the school. Joy News Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
The incident started like a storm in a teacup, but within a couple of hours, it ballooned. We want justice! We want justice! We want justice! We want justice! Students of Wa Jamiat Islamic Girls Senior High School spontaneously poured into the streets of Wa and stormed the Wa police station, demanding for the release of their 3 tutors who were held by the police for alleged assault on a 30-year-old man they accused of sexually harassing their student on June 15. They became rowdy and pelted the police with stones. The police took cover and gave them a hot chase, arresting 4 students and the librarian of the school.
This is not responsible policing. It's very unfortunate that this is happening.
You've seen some of your students being whipped?
Yes, we saw some of them being whipped. As we speak now, 4 of them are under detention. 4 of them, and one of our masters, who is a librarian and teaches French in the school, is also in the cell.
The tutors were invited by the police after the suspect, upon interrogation, revealed that he was manhandled and assaulted during his arrest by the tutors.
And we were made to parade as if we were criminals for that guy, alleged rapist, to identify amongst us who were in the scene when he was arrested. So now everything has turned to be that the staff of Jamiat Islamic Girls Senior High School has assaulted the guy, and the police has now shifted the burden of proof. Instead of pursuing the rape case, they are now pursuing assault on the guy.
Upper West Region's Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Police Service, Chief Inspector Gideon Barton, denied that the police are trying to use the case of the assault to cover up the crimes of the suspect.
No. The alleged case, which is with the doxy, is still pending, and they are investigating that one too. But no, it's never that.
The 4 students and the librarian were later released. Chief Inspector Gideon Barton stated that they will investigate both cases to get to the bottom of the matter. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Wow.
And my pizza Sibidi is here with showbiz.
All right, so
are you rapping?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. Hashtag Same Earth, Different Worlds has been trending since dawn, and that is Omar Sterling's new album, 20-track album. And one of the songs trending is Makola Dreams, and that features Manifest. Let's check it out.
Makola dreams, we all caught up in the buying and selling. Makola dreams, we all caught up bargaining. Yeah, when there's clarity, the vibe's different. Inferiority complex make you keep your distance.
Hashtag Same Earth, Different Worlds. Let me give you some of the reactions from Twitter. Aramayao says, from Payday to Omar Sterling, this guy is one of the deepest rappers on the continent. And at Don_Mufti says, your mental health is an essential wealth. Hashtag Same Earth, Different Worlds. And the last one from Selo says, hashtag Same Earth, Different Worlds. Beautiful songs on this album.
Thank you very much, Mapito. I was hoping you would rap. But stories making the headlines on myjoyonline.com. COVID-19, deadly Indian strain detected in Ghana. Sputnik V, AstraZeneca vaccines not effective against it. We've also been talking about the London court throws out AG, others for sleeping on $170 million case. My opinion on 2020 election petition ruling didn't harm reputation of Justices. Ayine replies CJ's petition. That and more on myjoyonline.com. Thanks so much for your company this afternoon. On behalf of the entire team, we say thank you. I am Emefa Apau. Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabo. Wisdom, episode 22 is up next.
I won again! I won, oh! I won again, oh! This MTN spin the wheel. It is simple. Here, top up your airtime. Text spin to 5040 and win your prize. Simple. And you can win up to 30,000 Ghana cedis every month. Text VIP to 5040.